Good morning. I'm Geeta Iyengar here, retired professor in sociology, and I'm here talking on one aspect of positive thinking. And today my topic is argument. All of us, we have heard this term and we said, oh my God, I don't want to be with her. She goes on arguing non-stop. She goes on debating and it's so irritating. You see, sometimes we people argue because they have nothing else to do. Sometimes they argue because they want to argue, put you down. Debate is a different issue. When we want to argue, understand you have to help the other person, make them understand your point. So, both the parties, if two people can argue, one group and one person can argue, but you have to do a lot of research before getting into the arena of argument. You have to understand what you are talking about. Have you seen people watching a movie, watching a play, watching a dance, and they come out and say, oh my God, horrible? Or they will say, beautiful. As long as they are praising, the question doesn't arise. But if they are praising and the other person is not blaming, then the argument takes a different shape. So, what do you do? So, we have to understand the psychology, the psyche of these people. What do you do most of the time? I mean, if you ask me, it's very easy for me. If I find that somebody is going to say something which doesn't gel with my ideology, the easiest thing that I would do is walk away. That's fine. But in life, there are a lot of facts, there are a lot of issues where you cannot get away with argument. You have to face them, whether it's in your as a child, as a student, as a parent, as like a mother, or as a daughter, or as a wife. We all find how we change or how we discuss and how we deal with argument. An argument will be there because there are two people, they will have two ideas, and it may be matching, it may not match. So, how we deal with these things is very important. So, as a mother, you have a different way of looking at things. As a daughter, again, you are from a different angle. If you put a circle, you feel so many roles you're playing. You're not just one person. She's a student, she's a mother, she's a wife, she's a daughter, she's a friend, and so on. And she's also a foe, enemy of somebody. Somebody likes her. She's a pleasant personality for some, she's an irritant to somebody, but yet she is an individual, she or he. So then this one thing has to learn. When we talk about life skill, one of the ingredient of life skill is how to handle people, how to feel comfortable with another person who makes your life very, very uncomfortable. So how do you do that? So there are no specific techniques as such. Of course, you have to understand what is this person knowing. Once you get to know those people, you realize, oh, this is a shallow person. This one has depth. This one has lot of knowledge. So people who have wisdom will receive wisdom and will give wisdom. But people who are ignorant, just avoid them. Don't get into the argument, because if you get into it, you'll be in a puddle and you will never come out of it. But that decision, discretion, all of us have to learn. Whether you learn it in your school or learn it in your house. I feel personally every parent should teach or give this capsule to the child to make him understand, to identify between who is a wise person and who is a fool. You need not have a lot of degrees to achieve this. You can find out, and I would still say I can forgive a fool, but not a cunning fox. That man knows everything, but he does purposely to put you down. A fool is an idiot. He doesn't know how to handle things. So leave him aside. You won't get anything out of him. But the other person who is going to argue and make his point vocal, make his point win, you have to understand whether I can learn anything from him. You can learn a lot. Patience, tolerance, perseverance, consistency. Go on. You can learn from him if you can tolerate him without imbibing his nonsense talk. But this doesn't happen in most of our cases because we get so carried away with that argument, and we get so emotionally, we reactive, that all your emotions get ruptured every minute that happens. And imagine how that person systematically disintegrating your personality. You very well, you are knowing it, but you are a scapegoat, you are one victim in his or her hand. Don't allow that to happen, because as we all know, we are emotional beings. We don't realize the minute somebody tells me something which hurts me, something bad about my mother, something bad about my own person, the first reaction will be to fight back. So there's argument, counter argument, discussion, and then fight and quarrel. It is all going to take negative shapes. There is not going to be any positive outcome of this. So we have to learn, we have to inculcate these values into our children, that make them understand who is the person from whom you can take advice, whom you can give advice, and don't argue for the sake of arguing. Read very well, understand, and even that argument can be done in a very peaceful, proper manner. And then all of us will learn, we become budding knowledge flowers. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen. And I have become a victim of this. I have learned the technique now. Today, I just change the topic. If somebody talks and I don't agree with them, agreeing and not agreeing are different issues. Agreeing on facts is important. So if I'm wrong, I should go and read my books, find out what the facts are, and then if I want, I'll argue, or I just keep my mouth shut, smile, be quiet. The fact will not change. You don't change your emotion just because somebody else is blabbering some nonsense. So we have to learn this fact, and that is the only way we can control one aspect of our emotion, especially when we get so vulnerable, when people say something without thinking, and we call that as argument. So thank you, my friends, for listening to this aspect of psychological, emotional reactions, because of which lot of damage has done to our emotions. So let's rise up to that and think positively and understand who is speaking the right and whom I should avoid, whom I should ignore, and from whom I can get some wisdom and knowledge. Thank you once again for being with me. See you next time.